Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the second video on Genshin Impact now. Oh boy do we have a subject to cover today. So, I've saw a lot of videos, and I mean I've watched a lot of videos of, oh, why should you go for Venti? Why should you go for Tartaglia? Now, I just want to get across, this video is going to be a little bit of a different approach. Just because, first of all, I don't want to do the same old content you've probably already seen. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot about this game is to have the best characters in the game and be the best player in the game, you know, meta and all that added together, but we're not going to talk about today. We're going to talk about it from a different perspective. Alright, so the first thing I want to cover right now is make sure you don't spend money in this game. Now, obviously, it depends what kind of financial situation you're in, but personally, I feel like if you are especially trying to get maybe, let's say, Venti or Tartaglia, just because you find the game boring at the moment, maybe the game's just not for you. And that's honestly the truth of it. I've had too many people are kind of forced into spending money in this game just because they think they're gonna get some sort of fun out of it, but in the end it's really not the character that changes it. It's just a different game. And you know, obviously, since I've been doing Genshin Impact videos from now, you could say, oh, but aren't you making less people actually play this game? Well, it's more worth it in this way because you don't have people just spending money on random stuff that in the end won't really matter. Now, obviously, if you're a rich whale and you can spend money, then hey, you know what? Be my guest. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm just getting the point across that if you are literally just spending some money on a Venti banner or any banner at all, and you think the game's going to be better just because of that, it probably won't be, and that's just the truth of it. And I just want to get that across before I start this video properly. I know a lot of the time, a lot of content creators generally kind of put their opinion on you, but instead I want you to get an opinion of your own. So straight away, what I'm going to ask you is think about this. What character do you want? Now, I know you might have came to this video thinking, oh, but I don't know what character I want. But there will be a couple of you who'll be like, I think I want this character just because he looks cool, but I've heard Venti's really good, or I've heard Tartaglia is a good damage dealer. The thing you gotta ask yourself is, what character do you want? And if you honestly don't know, then this is what this video is for. Now, you might also not have a full idea, so I'll still try and help you in that way. But first of all, what you should think about when you have a team on Genshin Impact is simply what you need. I mean, at the end of the day, Venti is a crowd control unit. You could technically make him a damage dealer, but in all cases, he isn't really as effective as a damage dealer as he is as just a crowd controller unit. And then we have Tartaglia, who is a damage dealer in himself. He doesn't do much crowd control. He's just a damage dealer. Now, if you need a damage dealer, then why not go Tartaglia? If you need a crowd controlling unit, there is Sucrose who's actually currently on the banner. But you gotta think about it that Venti is one of the best crowd control units, if not the best. And even though the content is further down the line not really aligned for players who can use Venti, just because, you know, if you go to Spiral Abyss 12 and higher, not many small units that you can actually crowd control, which is obviously a bit of a problem. But the thing to think about is, I know quite a few players here are probably who are watching this on those type of levels. And there's always going to be a stage of the game where there's eventually going to be some sort of small units we can crowd control. And crowd control just in general is quite helpful. Now, I would like to get across now, if you have 2 DPS and they're perfectly viable in your team, then there's probably no need for Tartaglia. And that's just my honest opinion. You probably don't need Tartaglia because obviously it's a DPS. If you already have 2 perfectly good DPS, then at the end of the day, it's probably not worth it. Now, obviously, if you want Tartaglia and you like him as a character, then that is kind of a different question of what you should do. Because at the end of the day, you should be going for characters you want. That's just simply how games are. Do what you want in games. Don't just be forced just because, oh, this is the best character in the game. You gotta have some fun on this game, because at the end of the day, you never know. You might stop playing this game and you maybe miss out on your favorite character, or you just simply miss out on your character and you regret it. So honestly, I just recommend go for who you want in that case. You know, if you really like Tartaglia or Venti, just do it. It's fine. At the end of the day, if you're free to play, you might lose a couple resources, but at least you've got the character you want, instead of just a character that's going to be good for you, and then the challenge is kind of over in some sense. And that's another thing. If you go with a character that's more exciting for you and is less easy to use or has a different kind of use, then you probably need, it is more of a challenge too. So that's something to take into account. Obviously, kind of depends what you really want. Now, going more into the actual realistic aspect of whether you should go Venti or Tartaglia, I don't really want to go too deep into this, but I'm going to give you a general idea of why I personally think Venti is just generally a better character just because of his use. But this is completely my opinion. I don't actually have him on this account, so I would just like to point that out very quickly. So my opinion is as good as others. I've seen plenty of gameplay, I know what he does, and first of all, I'm going to be getting him very soon, so hopefully I'll be able to do a video on him and review him properly. But here's my opinion. So with Venti, I know this for sure. Venti doesn't require a lot to be built. Venti requires very basic stuff. You could have him very low level and his crowd control will still be really good. And that's the thing, he's a support character. Now, what I usually say with, for example, if we go over to Tartaglia, with this character, he is a damage dealer. With your damage dealer, you should be building them fully, and they should be your number one focus. If you have two damage dealers, then it's perfect. I mean, you can have him as your second damage dealer or first one, and build him up, make him your best character, and he will do wonders for you. Plenty of people say, oh, his constellations are not good, but then literally people still use him. Constellation 0, people still use him. Any character can be good in this game. You could really have a Venti be your DPS. It's just not ideal to do that. But even Amber, I mean, you can go with Amber if you really want to. Now, before I actually forget to talk about this, I've got one final point to get across here. So, something I actually forgot to cover previously. Don't feel forced to actually go on to any of these banners, in all fairness. Like, there will be plenty of other banners in the future. Will Venti and Tartaglia be in the next banners? Honestly, I don't know that, but I'm sure they'll eventually be back. And you shouldn't be worried about the fear of missing out on characters, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be cool characters. And if you want a specific character because you think, oh, they're such a cool character, then go for them. Now, obviously, there's a lot of really good characters, and I could tell you better DPS than Tartaglia, or at least more efficient DPS that I think will be better for you, but this is not what this video is for. I just want you to have an opinion, and I hope this video helped in some way. Now, I know it was kind of very neutral, but I know it takes some people someone needs to talk about this kind of stuff for you to actually get into your head and kind of make a decision. But hopefully, if you pick Venti, Tartaglia, or literally any other character in the future, I hope this video helped in some way. But anyway, if you enjoyed this and did find this helpful, please be free to leave a like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Honestly, we're still a small channel trying to grow. I'm doing lots of Genshin stuff on my Twitch channel. If you want to go check it out, be free. But anyway, boys, have a good one. I'll see you next one, and I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.